we'll be seeing Yale a little later on in our kitchen, so stay tuned for that.
Well, joining us now is a man who's being called a world-class mind coach, a mind nutrition expert, and a psychological vitamin pill. He's motivational speaker Kevin Abdulrahman. Kevin, thank you for being with us, first and foremost. And we've got to start with the T-shirt, if that's all right with you. We can't get away from it, can we?
All good.
So get inspired, get informed, get going.
Absolutely.
Is that the message?
That's the message.
Before we get on to
As simple as that, Tom.
the whys and the whens, I want to find out a little bit more about you, because
Sure.
you've had a fairly fascinating journey to where we are today on the sofa.
Yes.
Is it true, flipping burgers at 20,
Absolutely.
retired at 25?
Absolutely.
Take us through it.
Lost it all at 28.
Really?
Back into it. Absolutely. Flipping burgers at 20, as you're saying, quite right. And then had done quite well, working on my mind and doing businesses to a point where I was quite comfortable at 25. And then through the financial crisis, lost everything.
And where was all this? Where did all this happen?
I was raised in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Born in the UK, raised in New Zealand. My story is interesting in the fact that my parents are Middle Eastern by origin.
Yeah.
So Dad was from Yemen, Mum from Iran. So it's an interesting combination as we speak. But I started off in New Zealand and pretty much all over the world.
And where did the business ideas come from? Where did it all start? Have you always been an entrepreneurial thinker?
Not really. Again, coming from a Middle Eastern family, you had to be one of four things: doctor, lawyer, accountant, or an engineer.
Yeah.
To this date, I think my mum still thinks I'm a failure.
Really?
No, not really. But the truth is, I had to learn that it's what I teach. The quality of your results in life is a reflection of the quality of your mind.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I worked on my mind, and as a result, I started seeing opportunities.
So you've overcome some pretty big hurdles in a short period of time.
Yes.
How did you bring it all together? How did you overcome it?
You see, at the end of the day, it's the meaning you give failure. So we lost everything. We were homeless, didn't have a penny, couldn't buy a coffee. We lost everything. But the hardest part was seeing my mum being homeless. For me, it was a mental thing of, hey, you've done it before, you'll do it again. It's something I teach a lot of my clients as well. Where you are right now is not a verdict. Where you are is just a point in time, and it's the meaning you decide to give it. For me, it was a lot of lessons that were learned and how to move forward smarter, smoother, sharper.
It's great advice, but how do you get over that hurdle when you've lost everything, when you're out on the street, out on nothing, with not a single penny in your pocket? What's the spark?
Believe it or not, it's actually pretty simple, because now you have nothing to lose. But what drives you is knowing what you want. You see, for me, it was knowing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
A lot of the viewers would probably be familiar. I've got a vision of reaching 1 billion people. So for me, I still had that vision. I had a lot of job offers, which I didn't take. I could have taken them. That would have been the smart thing to do. But I knew what I wanted to achieve moving forward. So I had it in me that where I am today, it's not going to be where I'm going to be a year or two down the track.
Yeah.
And when you focus on where you want to go, you get there.
One thing I don't get is how you've obviously been successful.
Yes.
You've had very successful businesses. Why not just do that again? You're obviously good at it. Why
Yes.
go into the motivational speaking?
I've been doing it on and off for about 10 years. So I've been doing it casually for the first few years and now professionally.
Yeah.
And the reason was it got me thinking. You don't get remembered for all the things that you've done for yourself or everything you've accumulated. And I wanted to be able to be a person who in 200 or 300 years' time, people could look back and amongst the list of people who've contributed and made a difference, I'd like my name to be there.
Quite right.
And you've actually helped a lot of sports teams and organizations. Can you name a few of those?
I've helped many sports teams, organizations, CEOs, models, musicians, private, public organizations.
TV presenters?
TV presenters.
We need some, that's for sure.
We can have a private session after.
Sure, but I can't give names out of confidentiality. I'm sure you guys appreciate
All
that.
right. Okay.
This is the latest book, and obviously we're going to get on to that in just a while. But
Yes.
you know, this is a number of books that
Yes.
you've obviously committed to as well. Are books the way forward for you to get the message across?
They help, but one of the key things is part of writing that book, whatever you're into, is I didn't want it to be yet another book in leadership, motivation, or self-improvement, sitting on a bookshelf gathering dust. The statistics are horrible. You get over 225,000 new books in the States alone that come out every year, and less than 5% get 5,000 copies sold.
Yeah.
Whereas we, before even publishing it, was, how can we say it, unofficial bestseller, because we did 227,000.
Okay.
Working with different organizations through a lot of my relationships with different people in different fields. They saw the book, they loved it. They got it to every member of their group and societies.
Get reading. Read it.
So,
Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I have a copy. I definitely will. So you mentioned the term mind nutrition,
Yes.
Kevin. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. It's a term I enjoy using because we nourish our bodies with food, we take care of ourselves with clothing, you maintain your home, you maintain your car, and the most important asset that you've got is your mind. And it needs nourishment. And the reason it needs nourishment because it's not a one-off thing. You don't have lunch today and then have lunch next year. You do it on a day-to-day basis. The same is required for our minds. We're bombarded with negative thoughts, negative news. Most of the things that surround us is disempowering.
Yeah.
So you need to take an active stance. You need to actually take in the right information, hang around with the right people, get the coaching, get the consulting, to be able to take your mind to a new level, and hence you can get your results to a new level.
If you had one key piece of information that you would like to share with our viewers, what would that be?
The quality of your results in life is a direct reflection of the quality of your mind.
That's deep.
But it's simple.
Come back to me in a minute. Come back to me in a minute. Hang on. KevinAbdulrahman.com for all these details.
KevinAbdulrahman.com. Yes.
And we're after 1 billion people that you
Reaching 1 billion people,
Yeah.
accepting help all the time.
So any people can give their feedback.
Absolutely.
etc.
Thank you for having me.
I'm
I appreciate it.
in. I'm going to read the book and I'll be one of your billion. Don't
Thank
worry
you so
about
much.
that.
Appreciate
Kevin,
it.
it's been a pleasure. Thanks very
My
much for
pleasure.
being with
Thank
us.
you.
And thanks for your time today.
Cheers.
Kevin has very kindly given us 5 copies of his book, Whatever You're Into, to give away on tonight's show.
If you'd like to get your hands on one, head over to our Facebook page and write Motivate Me on our wall. The address you need is facebook.com/Studio One Live.
5 people will be chosen at random and announced on tomorrow night's episode. Now, talking of prizes, and here's a reminder of this week's big competition.
You could win a pampering session at the Eternal Med Spa, catering for up to 20 people, courtesy of health food outlet Freshie, a luxury overnight stay at Sofitel Hotel at Jumeirah Beach, including breakfast, and a 500 dirham voucher for Baker and Spice.
It's a great prize worth a whopping 3,000 dirhams, but to win, you'll need to answer this question.